St. Louis at the Impact Gaming Center. I'm Corin, with me, Cash. The CCL 2026 CCL LAN Championship has been, well, to say the very least, fun, phenomenal, and it has been very competitive between all these teams out here. We've had a lot of upsets throughout the weekend. We've had a lot of teams that we expected to come out and perform well, perform extremely well, and these two teams that are here in front of us right now are the two teams that stand at the top of the totem pole, at least for now. Oklahoma Christian got knocked out yesterday. The other team that we kind of had predicted going to be inside of the bracket play here was going to be Mars Hill. But Fisher and St. Clair, both the number one seeds from Groups A and Group B, they are the ones who are here in the winners finals. This is the best of 5 series. In order to get to the grand finals to see who will be the first team locked in and have the advantage going into the best of 7 championship game for the finale of the 2026 Black Ops 7 season. So that being said, let's dive into these two teams. Let's take a look at the head-to-head between both of these rosters and see how they've been playing throughout the weekend, because I can guarantee you one thing, St. Clair has not lost a map. No. They don't want to lose a map. They want to go all the way through this weekend undefeated if they possibly can, but they've got a very tall task in front of them. Well, I guess they're not really all that tall on the Fisher Falcons side. Their coach is, but that's about the only thing that's tall.
Definitely a task nonetheless ahead of them, and like you said, I like that you mentioned the advantage that the winner of this will get in grand finals. Looking at this matchup, yes, someone is going to want any kind of advantage they can get. Either of these teams, you can see the series going every which way, and we don't even have to dive into all of the facets of that, but between these two squads, with this being a winners finals matchup exclusively, it's one people would probably say we could see again. So to see it this early on for these teams to kind of get a heat check at this point in the bracket this early in the day, they're both going to be satisfied to kind of get a feel for one another, but I'm excited to see how they square up on paper. Of course, this being kind of what we've had up until this point, what these records look like. At LAN, though, it's been a little different of a story.
I'm getting word that vetoes are coming in here in just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
For what we see inside of this series. For St. Clair, they do have the, I believe, technical advantage, since they did have, well, actually, I don't know how the... Oh, no, I think they're going to have the advantage since they didn't lose a single map yesterday, so they should be able to pick either Team A or Team B for the veto series that we have between both of these two teams. Fisher obviously went undefeated yesterday, as we kind of mentioned already. We got to see them in that first match. I think there was a lot of good to take away from the series that they had against Wichita State coming into this. We didn't get to see St. Clair on what they were doing against Cumberland, but from what I was told, it didn't seem like that series was too far out of order for what we've seen throughout the weekend for the St. Clair Saints. So first and foremost, St. Clair is going to get Colossus out of there. I don't blame them. Fisher 7-0 on that map mode combo. St. Clair much more akin to play something else that's a little bit more their speed.
The gridlock getting banned as well, and neither of these teams, really wanting to venture something new. We actually had seen St. Clair play on gridlock yesterday, albeit it wasn't search and destroy, but both the teams kind of testing the waters to see if they can have those later in the day. Obviously going to get out of it here first, so St. Clair's going to end up picking Den Hardpoint for map number 1. We just watched Fisher play a lot of that. They look pretty solid on it as well, so I don't think they're too fussy about that for the moment. That's going to leave Fisher up to pick Scar for map 4 number Hardpoint. Keeping it close quarters, I can't say I'm shocked between these two teams.
No, I can't either. Most of the time it's going to be what these two teams, 11, have played throughout the entire year. This is the moment where I don't think we're going to see anything necessarily tricky out of either of these two teams.
No.
They just want to make it to the grand final first and foremost. Maybe in the grand final, when we start to extend that pool out a little bit further, that's when we'll see some deeper map picks come out of either one of these two teams, if they're able to make it the distance into that grand final, of course. For these, the set of S&D, when that's all considered, Search and Destroy map 2, we're going to be playing on Raid, where it's a 7-1 map for the Fisher Falcons. Both of these teams win percentage, though, pretty much dead even. There's not much separation on a lot of these maps, and that's what you're going to kind of see is like the theme throughout this series is no matter what map is being played by either of these rosters, both of them are very good.
It's just such a thin margin that you're looking at. I mean, maybe the opening duel win percentage out of Fisher is a little more favored in map 5, and that's even, if this goes the distance, which this has written all over it. But like you said, in the Search and Destroys, I don't think we're going to get anything flashy as far as the map set is concerned as we look to figure out what our overload will be. What we see of the 4 maps that we do have, these teams really just kind of want to get out and, like you said, we got to get to grand finals. We don't want to mess around. We don't want to drop to the lower bracket. They don't want to have any kind of route that would pose any more adversity than this series already will. So, nothing tricky here. Den Raid, double Scar to a Den. I like it out of both of them. I think it's just a very confident pool. No one really wanting to mess around or say, okay, let's just see how they're feeling on this map early. Like you said, reserve it for later if you even want to use it. I think this is a very up and down pick from either side. I think they're both satisfied with the set.
Well, all right. We got a couple of we really have a suite of new graphics here on Sunday, which has been something that's been awesome to see because we got a lot of stats that we've been able to collect throughout the weekend. And brought to you by BYU. They've come all the way out from Utah to give us the Super Soakers graphic that we've got here. We've got Brack #1 overall sitting there with, I believe that's 1,200 seconds overall on the weekend so far. But realistically, hill time per 10 minutes, I believe that's about 1 minute and 17 seconds. So throughout the entirety of the hard points being played, he has been the one leading the way. It's what you expected of Brack. When we talked about consistency earlier from Brack in terms of the overall modes that he's going through and playing, yes, the kills are always going to be there, and he's always going to be something that's beneficial to the team overall of being able to get you in the door. But he's somebody that's going to kind of be the bouncer on the door. He's going to sit there at the hard point and say, all right, you want to get in? You got to get through me. He's going to sit there like a good man, and he's just going to soak up the time, and that's really what he does every time.
And you see the other two players, second and third, Confid, Phantoms, also going around and playing the objective. Again, boasting KD's Confid at a 1.1 KD. We talked about him coming into this series off of the one they just played. He is heating up as well. So an objective play he can take over. I expect a lot more of that slaying to kind of be where he makes his kind of stand here. And we'll have a look at Darkside, who isn't on this objective list. He has been the one really just kind of leading the way kill-wise. He has found ways to get 25, 35, 45 points. Sure, he'll have 40 seconds in the hard point after a win. You want that from him. He doesn't. There's not hill time left to soak when it's all said and done, because he's the one kind of carving out the lanes needed for this team. So looking at Kings of the Hill, we're looking at the KDs here and the conversation. Darkside, what he does, what he brings for Fisher. I don't want to say overshadowed because it feels a bit dramatic, but now we can take that, know what Darkside does, pivot and say, but on the other side of things, KB is running it for St. Clair.
Exactly. And the other thing that we talk about too is, like, back in the day, there used to be defined roles in Call of Duty. You had to, like, you're looking for one main AR, looking for one Slayer, looking for one objective guy. That doesn't really happen in Call of Duty anymore. We don't really have those traditional roles in that sense anymore. But there are still going to be guys on your teams like a Darkside, like a KB, for example, who maybe aren't going to be doing the dirty work and getting that hill time and sitting there, but they're doing everything else on top of that to make sure not only are they the first line of defense, but they're the first ones in. If they need to be the first guy to get a kill, boom, they're in. If they need to be the first guy to get out, push a lane out, I think if we're going to talk about the hard point coming up here on Den, you think of a P2. Instead of just holding time in P2, maybe KB, maybe Darkside, or somebody like that is going to be, instead of sitting in the time, playing out over towards roofs and pushing that out while somebody's blocking deep spawns or getting out into couches and being that first line of defense. They want to take those gunfights first. That's why they have the highest KDs on their team, because they are the ones forcing the other team into unnecessary plays in bad positions.
Well, and I think because we have Fisher v. St. Clair here, we can have the conversation where per 10 minutes you see Darkside averaging about 40 or so seconds, which again, for the slaying he was doing, we were talking, that's a decent number. That looks good for what the output is for his kills around the map. You just saw their KB with about 1 minute and 40 on top of having, a 1.3 give or take KD.
Yeah.
So not only is he finding the kills, but like you said, usually that guy's the entry man, gets the kills, softens it up for the team, lets them get in to hold the time. He's finding the kills and still staying alive behind that for, again, an undetermined amount of time, depending on, what the map complexion is. He's getting the kills, and he's also getting 1 minute 40 of hill time, which is something you'd be satisfied with as an OBJ player, getting 1 minute and 40 with, 500 KD. So for him to be able to do what he does, killing around the map, and to also prioritize objective play like that is something that, does he get to dip into both pools today? Is it going to be against Fisher, one or the other? Do you have to find kills and we're going to keep you out of the hill? Or do you get hill time but you're going to slow down in the kill column? That's something I'm interested to see out of KB. What can Fisher do to force him to not get the best of both worlds?
A lot of questions to be answered here as we get into map 1. Teams getting lobbied, everybody getting ready, coaches in the back end talking to their teams one final time, going over strategies, getting everything mixed up and ready to go. And the big thing that's on everybody's mind right now is, can Wichita State, the team that lost down there, beat Cumberland Phoenix? Can Cumberland Phoenix beat Wichita State? I know that's not necessarily the matchup we're watching right now, but down in lower round 1, that is the other matchup in the bracket that we have. One of those teams, after a best-of-5 series, will be eliminated from contention for a national championship this weekend. Yes, do we expect Fisher? Do we expect St. Clair to be there fighting in the grand finals on Sunday afternoon later today? We absolutely do. But Cumberland and Wichita State are not finished fighting yet. We'll try to give you live updates for that match. We'll try to make sure that we give you all the information, and hopefully we can get a live look in between maybe maps 1 and 2, 3 and 4, whatever it may be between these two teams. I have a feeling that this one could go the distance here. We're going to get our first taste at what we're going to see between Fisher and St. Clair now in a matchup that everybody has crowned as destined for something that is going to be a running back later on in the day. And Brian, quite excited to see who comes out on top first. Will it be the Fisher Falcons to finally be able to break the mold? Will it be St. Clair to break the curse that has been ailing them for what has been almost 4 to 5 years at this point in time? Let's kick it off in map 1 here for a chance to get to the grand final to fight for a national championship on land. The Fisher Falcons will be in the hard point first, but it's St. Clair who battle back and touch time in P1.
We've seen so much of Fisher today and how much they work through the mid-map and expand the map around that. So I expect them to apply a lot of pressure here. They're not going to try to play from the outer lanes. They do like to get the initial tempo set from the mid-map. They do that here. They get back in the hill.
Guess who's popping off? It's big old dark side. 3-piece early on, holding down P3, looking to push back on P1. It's Rupert who has something to say about it. Confid there for a trade. It goes 3 for 3 inside of the hill. 1v1. Seawads versus Brack. Brack wins it. He's got his own 3-piece on 3 in a row. Starting to get some time here for the Falcons. 15 seconds left on P1.
And he's just been the AR to lead the charge for this squad to start the entirety of Sunday for them. Of course, this being our first time seeing St. Clair on broadcast here. We'll see what they can do to mitigate that. The respect on either side for these teams, knowing that Brack is going to be a mainstay player that's going to lock down lanes. What can they do to make him uncomfortable around the map? For now, we go 50-50 on P1. Rotation's new, just as dicey. A 1v1 for time. As St. Clair gets numbers there, they're able to win it with time for the moment. Already a flank underway from Brack.
Brack on the backside, looking to go ahead around. Dark side naded out. It's Confid who puts a mistake there. Gets one at his feet. It's a team kill that comes in on the opposite side for St. Clair. Bit mixy early on here. Some early mistakes from both sides, allowing the chaos to now fester for the Fisher Falcons. They've got bodies here. It's a 1v4 on time, and they'll break back in with 40 seconds left. Plenty of action here. St. Clair now gets a break through middle map.
Brack gets 2 of those 2 in the back line just to clear it out. So while the mistakes were happening in the front, Brack was taking care of business in the back. The bouncer in position. What can he do to keep the door shut? For now, going to do everything that he can. Everyone on the other side of things going to win their gunfights the front side of hill. So all of the cuts covered, lines and arrows all pointing forward. As now this push is going to come from out of roof. You connect with your KD, but the next hit is on.
KB played his life perfectly there, was able to find one with an nade, gets back in, AR pulled out, goes outer right-hand side, 2 HP, survives and gets in for time. So St. Clair early on, small deficit, get the back end of P2 time, and now it's all about the rotation. Seawad's the first man here, line of defense. He's got 2 bodies in front of him, great bait and switch from the Fisher Falcons, allowed them to push through the tower side. On 10, you've got Cootie who's still there, KB out through middle, and the flank being watched by Brack. Great shots are good. It weakens them up, they can all play around one another, but the good news here for Fisher is that they're in.
And Darkside's just going to cut the mid-cut and try to really cut off Seawads before he can get reinforcements at the point. He is going to be the only one on time before he falls. Conf is going to be there also, but they take care of it. It was a foot race to hill, and it's going to be St. Clair winning that gunfight once again. Now we see them still battling from a deficit, but in time, a moment where, okay, maybe they can breathe, maybe they get this mid lane secured, and they can find themselves even more time. 30 seconds to fight for, something they're absolutely going to work for every bit of.
All eyes on Conflict through middle map as he's able to find one on Cootie. Seawad's on a rewrap back, will spot the second player out. They go 1 for 1 on a trade immediately. Brack is there once again. He knows there's a player inside of 10. Good shots in, can't get the snap on it. They go 3 for 2 once again, but it's everybody dead, and now the rotation back over. St. Clair fighting for the scrap time once again here on the hill, but the team that is out and ahead inside of the dojo is Fisher.
We are just completely neck and neck, just having a look at things, kind of taking it all in here. It's been a lightning quick 3 hills, and already on to the 4th. We are starting it off essentially 0-0 here. Rupert with the nade, trying to soften things up as they get in. The fights are going to be taking place everywhere. They're going down. You open up with 2. It's even in the feed, 2v2 for time.
Papa wants something in the back line. KB, the top KD all over the entire weekend thus far, isn't able to win the 1v in the back line for Phantoms. That gives full spawn control to the Fisher Falcons, who now turn their focus back over to the front side on the roofs. It's going to be Rupert here, the first one in. Got Seawads now pushing on the outside as well. St. Clair trying to break as fast as they can, but they know they've got players inside of the computers. It's trades galore consistently here throughout the map. Not a moment to breathe if you're either team.
Brack will get a team kill, but he'll end up getting something for it, so you're still going to have an advantage. You're still going to have spawns as Brack's starting to light things up here. Maybe a moment, just kind of regather, figure out where he wants to take his next gunfight. Doesn't finish his food, you're going to get the hop in as well, so he's just going to throw a nade, try to back these players down. No, he's damaged. Phantom's over the top, able to get the cleanup for the moment, but as you said, back and forth we go, no one slowing down for even a moment. It will still be Fisher in the time, and even though it's been back and forth, the scoreline very much favoring Fisher after that hill.
St. Clair, first real challenge that they've had all weekend when it comes to a team playing them close inside of a hard point. Fisher now have a 30-point lead extended on them, but in the middle map, it's another team kill that comes in from Phantoms. That is going to be costly here. It's going to give St. Clair a lot of time and space to move around the map. It's another double that comes through inside of couches. So you've cleared everything out. You've got P2 side of the map in your favor. All eyes back on Dojo. Here comes the push in for Fisher.
They've got a couple of players just watching these lanes in isolation. Everyone else overlooking with ARs in the mid-map, so Seawad's going to get a couple. Rupert is going to get one before being taken down, but again, the job was done. You put those players to pinch those lanes, you get information early. The players mid-map are now able to turn in response to where those spawns flip. It's going to be Seawad's roaming the south side of the map. He's going to play spoiler on this next push. What can he do? Fisher respond with 2.
We're going to see if it was St. Clair Sunday Blues like what happened last year in 2025. They fell apart on Sunday. Here, though, they've been able to survive about a 30 to 40 point deficit, get back inside of P1, and now they're pushing again. Scrap time with 13 seconds, looking to hold everything down. Cootie's going to be the first one pushed up into broken window, and you can see where they're trying to push everybody out. It's a spawn out across from Fisher Falcons. They're going to have a pinch coming in through the roofs. St. Clair's kind of in a weird spot right now where they don't really have any sort of space to take by P2.
On the back lines, last time it was going to be Brack just to try to push this forward to get the early break. Now that you have the rotation, it's going to be Phantoms watching the push to the south side. Everyone's going to be working through mid for the moment, though, so Phantoms will have Sandful here in a second. If he's able to get one, great. If you can relay the comms to everyone else that there's going to be more pressure, awesome. Everyone took care of business from the front. You know the last player is going to be here. You win this 1v1, you should get the lion's share of time for the moment, but Seawad's able to get the cleanup, a pinch quickly developing.
Brack there for a good trade. 3 bodies in, and a spawn directly behind player 6 and Cootie. Could spell trouble for what he's trying to throw at the hill while the rest of the team is getting in position. He picks them away, turns some heads around. This allows KB an opening to get inside. It's another 1v1 gunfight. Semtex right side, gonna weaken up a few players or at least back them off. Pistol from Phantoms allows his team now to push back into the hard point. Confident to slide in directly to the left-hand side. They're playing only for 15 seconds. You'd think this is the end of the game.
It's a conga line, essentially, of how they're throwing bodies at this. Like you said, no one wanting to let any time go. They don't want to give an opportunity for them to tie this game up. And we're going to have a live look here, or at least the breath moments of the finality of that hard point. It's going to be taken by Cumberland. And I don't know if we're hearing hooting and hollering from somewhere, but absolutely they're letting people know as that map 1 goes the way of Cumberland. Diving in here, like you said, this one playing with the energy of the tail end of 1. Alex, we're only halfway done.
Yeah, it's like on an airplane right now. I got a baby crying behind me, and I want to shut it up, but I can't. Dark side now looking back around. Rooper on the outside of the building. He'll find 2 on a connection with a grenade first. This allows Cootie and C-Wants to get aggressive inside. This should be the final nail in the coffin for a Fisher player. And it's finally the rescue that comes in from C-Wants. Again, so many bodies constantly flying around the objectives. It's like they're getting back every single time. You blink and you miss it. All of a sudden, the respawn's there. It's still a 6-point game with 30 seconds left on P3.
And here come the Fisher Falcons once again. They want to clear out mid-cut. They want to use that as cover to be able to surge forward and get the rest of this hard point time. 20 seconds, sitting great. Neither team wanting to let that go, but you're satisfied with it. No one is fighting from any kind of deficit, but they know the intensity. They know the pressure to be able to get as many points as possible here. It's still Fisher fighting for it. It's still back and forth in the kill feed. No one letting time go for free.
Only 1 player left alive here. It's Brack on 4 in a row. He's got a gunfight against Cootie here. Gets directly down. Great snap to the head. Is going to at least allow a lane and an avenue to push in through Dojo. Fisher on the back end trying to hold on. They've got a full hit coming through the front. Let's see what the comms sound like as they all fall dead.
2 there. Get on the desk there. 2 there. We're good. Go in front. Just take a right.
I'm gonna take my will. I will. You guys go mid.
I'm going top. Just wait.
Yes, double
top on me. Double top.
Yeah,
double top.
Small, watch out. Small.
Next time. I'm a bullet. I'm a bullet.
Where is he in the back?
You
back. One shot. He's
small. Spawn back. Front roof.
Let's go.
Watch out front.
Behind you.
Spawn
out. He pushed lights.
He pushed lights. He's gonna
spawn back here.
I spawned right.
I spawned DP2. One guy pushing out front.
Bottom server. I have the P2. Okay, bottom server. Watch out. Playing.
Nothing coming on me.
What shot? Let's get some right.
Hey, we just keep them there.
I'm gonna go pick up, bro.
Who's
P2 needs to make sure you're helping.
I hear you. Standing top.
On the right. Two right.
Alright.
Two right.
You should chill out. Don't get naded.
You jumped out.
Time and because.
St. Clair at the end of P4. We're down about 30-40 points the last time through. This time on the second rotation, they get themselves about a 40-point lead, and now Fisher reeling on the back end, trying to fight back as hard as they can. P3 cut Brack here inside a middle map. It's 3 dead. They're looking for number 4.
We were seeing if KB could keep up the slaying and the objective performance that we have seen him do the entire weekend, out to 30 and 20, leading St. Clair with about 60 seconds of hill time. He is dipping into both pools for now. Brack on the other side doing the same thing. 26 and 20, 60 seconds of hill time. Darkside's going to find a couple. Can Fisher get the rally going? Can they tie it up here on P1?
It was all about shutting down Darkside for a little bit. Confid, although he's a minute and 6 seconds at 13 and 24, hasn't had the best game here in map 1 to start things off, but the score closing, encapsulating even further. Another lead change could be in the loom. Is St. Clair now on the backside trying to break this in. Fisher holding the front side of P2. First gunfight goes Phantom's way.
Here we go, the rest of the team. Ento, the attack and nade usage out of St. Clair has been phenomenal, as that's going to open things up. Rupert's going to slide in and get the kill. Confid on the trade. Seawad with the double. It will be a team kill on Cootie, though, so for the moment, the number's going to be softened, but Seawad's making it happen, staying alive with the pistol. Can't make it connect. As Phantoms is going to get 2. Running around with the sub as well. Rupert to the back, going to collect 1. It's still going to be Fisher in time. They've eclipsed 200.
Promise, though. Here it comes for St. Clair. On the back end now, it's Dark Side from the Roost. They had everybody spread out and were able to recollapse on it. St. Clair didn't have any pressure coming from the outside, and it's Dark Side who once again finds another 3. The last person you want to see heating up on the map is Dark Side, the KD leader this weekend in hard point for the Fisher Falcons. He's almost got a minute to go along with it as well. This is one of the best games he's played so far.
20 seconds left on the hill, 35 seconds to close it out. You haven't even eclipsed 200 if you are St. Clair. They're feeling the heat for the moment. They can't let this time go, but they also need to make sure they get a good setup on rotation. You can see them kind of throwing it at it now. They're going to get the last little bit of time. Sure, it's going to put them at about that 200-point mark, but Fisher, they know they have numbers. They have winner's advantage as well, Alex. So what they can do here is sell out, apply pressure, make St. Clair mess up.
C-Wads gets a bump through. Everybody now rotating here for St. Clair. South side of the map and the conveyor belt starting to push their way forward, but Brack inside of Dojo wants to hold this line back while everybody else is flooding through middle map. C-Wads and KB. First 2 kills go the way of St. Clair. Their Griffin's starting to fly. Rupert now looking back to Dojo. He's got 2 bodies here. One out to the right, one to the left. It's going to be Confid who gets the best of him in this engagement. KB goes 1 for 1 with the rest of the team. 12-point differential. Fisher still lead.
Brack with 2 piece. Over the top now.
Oh.
But it's like St. Clair getting to get close and KB just bouncing off the walls here as we're all kind of feeling the energy and really just reflecting what we are looking at. And now St. Clair with an opportunity to look to tie things up what was not necessarily dire in a sense, but a deficit they had to come back from. We said they needed a strong rotation. They've gone and done that here.
Map 1 jitters could all end on P4. Neither team can win here. Lead changes and eclipses once again, but guess what? As soon as that happens, we sit dead even. 2:29, final 6 seconds. Gonna go the way of Fisher Falcons, but everybody here from St. Clair's on rotation.
And everyone's sitting back. They want to try to let Fisher come to them. They know they cannot give up spawns. If they give up spawns, it's game. They're trying not to do that, and already you have C-Wad spawn out.
Brack finds 1. Rupert backline has another gunfight that's coming in from Darkside. He's got team help through. Confid on the slide challenge, can't get anything for it. Still time left, but 10 seconds, you gotta go.
And they've got to fly. They've got to push pace. You can see Phantom's leading the charge. He needs to find some great tacknade usage here. This is going to be the last push for Fisher.
Outer roof, Cootie has 2 lined up in front of him. Phantoms is able to survive for 1. They get inside. 15 seconds now on the turn back around. It's Darkside who's able to find a double. Survives them here. Spawn's still close. C1 gets the engagement, but now it's Brack who has to win 3 more gunfights through the front. He can't find them on the tree. It's not going to be enough time for Fisher to push back in. St. Clair in a burner of map 1 will take the 1-0 series lead in the winners finals.
And we cut these player cams.
Say grand finals because
I mean, it might as well be. The fact that we're going to get treated to potentially another one of these is just insane. But you cut those player cams. No crazy yelling, right? But just again, the energy you could feel on the St. Clair side. We talked about going to the second set of rotations or third set of rotations. They were down 30 or 40 points.
Yes, they were.
They won. They were able to battle back in. They were just handshaking leads, and Fisher there at the tail end of things. It did come down to rotation, and I think it was just laid out wonderfully how well St. Clair played it. They're like, if we give up spawns, it's over. We need spawns for at least the first 15 seconds, and we need to put this game. It was already a 20-point game to the win. They're like, if we can get 10, okay, things can get a little dicey, but they played so reserved there. They didn't have any reason to overextend. Like you said, you always call that top lane of the map Roost. It's not a clean lane. They don't really have to apply a ton of pressure there. Keep spawns in the back. They can keep things for the good. I mean, look at this. I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time. I mean, you see for P1 there, obviously, you know, P1 to about through P2 and P3, great. It was that 40-point separation that we got at the end of P4 at the first set of rotations, where St. Clair was able to then hold middle map down. They got it back to a great point, and all of a sudden in P2, they start to get a small lead there. Then we see the complete opposite happen, where it was P4 the next time through, that St. Clair then started to extend their lead. Fisher then was down by about 40 points, and when they were able to bounce back and climb back in through middle map, it felt like a mirror matchup between these two teams, just happening at different times in a pendulum that kept swinging back and forth almost in perfect motion. All the way up until the end, they kept going back and forth, crossing between one another on the way to victory. St. Clair just narrowly squeaked it out. Honestly, for Fisher, the biggest thing there was when you saw that final 2-piece from Darkside that was there, and then Brack tried to come in for help over the top for support. The one thing that they didn't have, even though it was a great kill from Darkside, was somebody slipping in through computers to get the spawn a little bit deeper back, so St. Clair were able to send bodies there. They were rewarded for their rotation there, and that's why they were able to take map 1. That really was what it came down to at the end. There was that final rotation. There's so many other moments you can point to throughout a game, but in a game like this where it's this close, that was the moment that sealed it.
We'll just let the scorecard sit here, kind of soak in everything in front of us. I mean, it's pretty 1-to-1. I mean, you look at the 4,400 damage between KB and Brack. I mean, they just went at it. 32 and 28, 38 and 27. Again, 102 in the hill, 2 minutes in the hill. You can really just pair up any of these performances. Of course, you see Confid's maybe slower performance slaying, and know that someone he's younger that wants to turn things up. To still only lose by the margin they did, you think, okay, sure. Again, we do get ticky-tacky at this level because that's what it comes down to. You do need him to do a little bit more there. But you're going to have an off map against a great team. It's only winners finals.
Sure.
You know, there isn't really any kind of crazy implication to it. If you're going to have a slow map, let's get out of the way here. It just really was Fisher to start, as we see in the highlights here. But when St. Clair got going, like you said, that just started an all-out battle of just back and forth gameplay. I do think the one edge that you can clearly give St. Clair, and something we don't really get to talk about a lot until it's in our face a lot, is the tack usage out of them. I think there were 2 separate instances where Confid had a couple of team kills with a nade, Phantoms had one over the top, and St. Clair just used it so well to just entry into points. They didn't use the stuns to slow players down. Damage has to back you off, and if it doesn't, we're going to slide in and already have an advantage because we have dealt that with our frag grenade. So I think St. Clair plays really well behind their tacks. You didn't see a ton of trophy system usage or stoppage. It seemed like St. Clair got a lot of those opportunities to kind of lob it over the door frame. And because of that, I think a lot of those entries where they needed them helped. So everything here just comes together to give them the whole map. Absolutely loving what they're seeing. You could just feel, I imagine the tension in that room. I know up here we were feeling it. Back there had to have just been ridiculous. I expect it's just going to get loud and rowdy in there through the rest of the day. But yeah, something like that where you're calling off spawn, all right? Okay, the guys, let's use our nades and tags. Let's use our nades and tags. Make sure we're doing that. And they can see that it's working out for them. So you know that had to have been the conversation the whole time. You saw a lot of good things out of it in the kill feed. So we don't get to talk about that too much. The fact that it worked out so well for St. Clair at so many instances on a map like Den is definitely signs in a good direction of, okay, they want to use everything that they have against this team. And because of that, they get rewarded with, I mean, a 13-point map 1 win. That's not even our last time on Den, potentially. If we go to 5, we transition to a raid, search, and destroy.
Well, the thing is, we talked about struggles in the map too for Fisher, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is like the one thing that I guess we've neglected to almost kind of point out is like St. Clair is a matchup for Fisher is a lot better for them than somebody like a Cumberland, because I think Cumberland plays a little bit unorthodox in some of their S&Ds comparatively to a team like St. Clair, and that's nothing against Cumberland, as they still play a really strong and well-played game of Call of Duty. It's just for Fisher, with the players that they have on this roster, and the same thing for St. Clair, they are perennial like top 4, top 8 challengers players for the most part, or at least throughout the last few years, right? And so when you look at that, there's a specific expectation of the way that a search and destroy is going to be played. And both of these teams are going to kind of be able to play within that realm. It's like if you go from like, you know, if you're playing COD and you're a Crimson, you're an Eerie, you're top 250, and then all of a sudden you're playing like maybe just like even just a rank lower, and you're like, what are they doing? Like, what are you doing? And I think sometimes that catches some of these top teams inside of the CCL off guard. Not to say that Cumberland is going to be playing at such a far off pace that it's not going to be able to be something that you can counter against. But it's like, okay, if you're not making the right play here, or you are expecting somebody to be in a specific spot and you're checking something, and they're just playing the opposite side or like somewhere kind of like an off angle, it's like, okay, that was annoying as hell. And now you have to kind of like combat that, and you're starting to think about that as you get deeper into the games. That being said, St. Clair hasn't lost a search and destroy the entire weekend.
Yeah.
And also that throughout most of the year, they didn't really struggle in S&D either. So this is kind of where you expected St. Clair to, even if they lose map 1, bounce back with an S&D win. But again, I think Fisher and St. Clair match up really well against each other, so I don't think it's as cut and dry as it kind of sounds.
As much as we've talked about that, like you said, being kind of a point for Fisher of not even asterisks heavily, but like I said, with the team that maybe they mirror a bit more as far as play style is concerned, it's something that'll feel a little more consistent to them round to round on what the expectation will be off breaks and things like that. And looking at the S&D specialist, look, we've been talking about him a little bit here and there in each map for Fisher. Confid is someone who in Search and Destroy has kind of been their bright spot. I mean, the opening win percentage, one of the highest you'll see here, especially for how much they've played this weekend. At 71%, I mean, 3 out of 4 times he's going into battle, he's walking out with a win, and that's just big for Fisher. Even though they have been hurting in Search and Destroy, you've been able to count on that at least being something where in the first blood column he's been able to take that and put it on Fisher's side. Non-traded kill percentage also fantastic, but you just look at the overarching performance in a Search and Destroy. C-Wad's boasting the KD that he does, the kills per round that he does, getting the edge and the longevity, but off that opening break, St. Clair know exactly who they're looking for. Yeah.
I should also point out C-Wads is the second-rated player in Search and Destroy throughout the entire weekend as well. So, like, this is the best player that has been consistent, at least for Fisher, throughout the entire weekend of S&D, and they're sitting at a 108 KD. Yeah. So, like, the entirety of St. Clair Saints, besides one person being KB, who's just been an absolute animal and nuking people inside a hard point, is the only player left off the top 10 list of all players here for the weekend in S&D. And not only that, yes, we talked about it beforehand, like, the data's kind of skewed in a little bit because St. Clair's only played 3 Search and Destroys this weekend. So it's like, you know, you're not looking at that. Or 4, I should say, not the series. But they played 4 Search and Destroys. Even being at a 189 after 4 Search and Destroys is nuts, especially against the top 4 teams within collegiate Call of Duty. But again, for Fisher, they've played a few more S&Ds. They've gone into deeper series. They've had a lot of tough stretches along the lines against some of these teams that St. Clair hasn't really looked to struggle with as much. And that's why we are sitting here and saying, yes, this is why we don't expect Fisher to maybe have the best go of things at times, because it can be a little tricky for him.
2, Rage Search and Destroy. Phantoms over the top of the AR, gonna
There we
connect.
go.
That's gonna open up the bomb site. And what we saw Fisher do as well is they like to take up space. They like to get laundry control. They're not really satisfied with just saying, okay, we got the player out of laundry window. We want to make sure that when we plant, we can get out and not have to worry about someone challenging over. Cootie, though, the shake, the shimmy is going to get 2 for the trouble, is going to get the stun and get away as well. So as much as they had laundry control, Creepy crawling on the ground weren't able to take advantage of. They get the bomb down, though, but Cootie makes his presence felt.
Cootie plays his life perfectly there, too, on the backside of laundry. There wasn't much better that you were going to be able to do there to especially afford a secondary kill when your teammate's pushing directly on a slide chow out, though. Not exactly sure if I love that. You don't necessarily expect Phantoms to be here, but this is for the ace in the round if he's able to find Rooper. Top side of laundry, sniper directly in hand for Rooper. Couple of players going to be there. Smoke challenge going to be out and through the window. Teammate over the top will steal the ace away from Phantoms, but all the same, it ends at 1-0 with the Fisher Falcons leading map 1. Round 1.
And Phantoms is someone in the search and destroy. Yeah, over the top, connect for a first blood, get things going. Going to be someone, again, you just say every name, and you have to call it to different points. But, I mean, really, you could plug in any name there. Because you're like, yeah, no duh. I'm not shocked he go over the first blood and almost walked away with an ace. That's something you would think that he would do. So even though things go up and down for players individually within the map, Fisher stays so constant and so consistent. So to get a map 1, to get on the board, I know he's feeling it because it has been a little slower in the response for him. So a 3-0 start in the opening round, very satisfied with.
Phantoms wants to look over middle. They got 3 players basically all wrapped out and trying to send it into P1, or P5 rather. Cootie will spot one out. Wants to go for the wall bank. Can't attach on anything else. Doesn't exactly know where that player fully rotated to, but they know there's at least a couple of bodies inside of mid-map. It's KB with a nade on the Phantoms who's able to open up. They're trying to get this bomb worked out to B, but inside of Tiki, they're just going to stay for a moment. They know they have the man advantage.
Confid, dark side. Kind of working right now, deciding, okay, do we want to push? Do we want to play patient and try to, basically wait out Cootie to see if he's going to wrap back to mid? So just a lot of shimmying, standing in place for the moment. A picture-in-picture around 11 as well. I believe this is a live look, at least far as we're concerned. We'll kind of let this round dissipate because around 11, they can put Wichita State back in.
Well, not only is it around 11, it's a 1v2 here for Peach. He gets information. We're going to do this both at the same time. KB's finding kills on the opposite side. Peach is still looking to push this way. Ford not able to get it. The rip is there. Cumberland Phoenix will take map 2. I believe that's a 2-0 series lead for them. And all the while, St. Clair is still able to get kills here on top of the staircase inside of middle map. They're going to be able to go up 1-1. Or sorry, tie 1-1. Comes down to KB, though. KB had a hell of a round. I'm pretty sure that it was either he got an ace in that round or he got 3 of them. Yeah.
At least, yeah.
Either way, that's a bounce back. You'll take it.
And just to shape up that Bravo series, 250 to 249 win.
Ace.
And a round 11 win.
Yeah.
I mean, that series could not be playing closer as well. As we expect, ours was a 13-point game. I mean, again,
Sure.
This is where we're at on Sunday, just to show you kind of how close these games are going to play. I'm glad we've been getting those picture-in-pictures. Wichita, we were getting word, was down 4-2. Ended up losing 5-6. So yeah, just crazy there, and we'll keep tapping in Canada's great information to be able to relay because we're just excited to get updates about that match. But here, tied up 1-1 in the search and destroy. Cootie going to wisely back down now. Fisher not getting the offensive prowess that they maybe liked, still having to work a little bit more for site control.
Darkside wants to push this thing forward. Spots one on the jump challenge. Those 2 players are going to be back site, so he's going to call over a teammate for help. Config gets a little aggressive on the push-up. Brack is trying to be there. They try to ego chow directly forward, and at least Darkside's good for 1, but the problem is you still have another player in Cootie wrapping around the back, trying to just make sure that this does not sit calm and steady and allow Fisher to get any sort of breath to regain. Somehow, some way, Darkside stays alive in the back end. Seawads now has to be in a position for a trade, and if you look to Phantoms, you're in a 1 versus 1. You don't know where the last player is. You expect he's somewhere on the flank because that was the last point of information that you had from a teammate on the call-out, but you're taking this bomb over towards B. Middle map now being wrapped through by Rooper. This 1v1's playing very close.
I feel like it's going to come down to timings.
Always does.
As they're playing so close to one another. Look left, look right before crossing the street, and you're not going to. The turn and burn for a moment.
Like, it didn't get, like, too scary, but it got to the point where, like, he was able to turn around, acknowledge that he was getting shot in the back, and say, I'm going to put a bullet or 2 in you. And, like, at that point, if you're like, oh, I missed a couple of shots, then you're looking at a much different round there. But luckily enough, Timmy Phantom's done this enough times in his lifetime that he's able to walk away with the gunfight win there. So, clutch 1v1. Realistically, that round was just kind of a bang-out back launcher, which you don't necessarily see all the time with almost 4 bodies there, but still somehow, some way, ends up in the way of Fisher on the offense.
5 kills, Darkside, 5 kills, Phantoms. Confid not on the board. KB the only one with a handful of kills on the board is now, if we're going to do a bang out laundry, we might as well just take it mid-map at this point, and we're going to go 1 for 1 for the good. So 3-3 is going to be in the kill column. You're basically just head on a swivel spinning around if you're Darkside. Phantoms going to alleviate that pressure in totality, mid-map, allow the team to completely wrap back, so you have the man advantage, but you also have these players in aggressive position. Cootie, he's done a good job keeping his life here. Can he do a little more?
Oh, another trade in for Brack. It actually is going to be Seawatch who backs all the way up, has the pistol challenge, but was already weakened up. Slide comes through from back jungle, goes around the outside wall, and you're able to clean up that final kill there as well. It's actually been quite a struggle for Confid here inside of the S&D. He was the top performer when we were looking at that matchup against Wichita State earlier when they played the Den. I was expecting something a little bit more out of him here. Obviously, it's still early, but he has actually been putting himself in good position. That's kind of why I was bringing it up, is like he's been putting himself in good positions for trades for his teammates. He's not just kind of dying willy-nilly and just losing his life that way.
Well, and those are also situations, like you said, if you're in a position to get a trade, that means you're in a position where you're taking gunfights that they're going to fall at some point. You know, they're going to be ones that go your way. If you keep putting yourself in the right spot, you're going to get on the better side of those gunfights. So you do want to see him keep putting himself in those positions because they're still valuable to the team, even if he doesn't walk away with a kill.
And when you needed Phantoms, he's going to give you 7. He's got 2 coming up the middle map right now. Oh, almost able to walk away, but it's just a good bait and switch. 2 players from St. Clair now get out with their lives in through middle map. You can sit happy with the fact that they're up 4-3 in the life count. Minute left on the clock, just about 60 seconds. Bomb still wanting to work its way over towards B, but you're in a precarious spot here because now you're not only looking for an engagement where you can try to walk away with a pick here, but you still are trying to make sure the site is even cleared out to plant.
With teammate oversight, Brack trying to pay respect to Tiki side and pool side. You're just going to have the bomb wrap the whole way through. Just a very tight mid-map spawn side presence. But again, who wants to fill that space? Dark side. He gets eyes. He wisely backs down. The last time he overextended and got killed for it. So Brack's able to get one mid-map. Can he get a second? No. But now all hell starts to break loose. Confid finally gets on the board. That's going to be a confidence booster at that. Dark side trying to jump chow. They're waiting for him. Kitchen. They get him taken down. Seawad's lines up too. What was a bomb wrap back? I think Dark side or Brack getting that kill. Everyone wanted to adjust and kind of go back to the pool side and plant the bomb there. And I just think St. Clair played it so patient. No one really moved the entirety of that round for them.
Yeah, I think a big thing is like you just don't expect 2 people in the kitchen there at the end either. So when you're trying to hop over the mid wall there, it's like, okay, well, where do I go now? And like credit where credit was due for Confid being able to get that trade inside the middle map. Would I have liked them to maybe try to push that up a little bit further? I can't really necessarily say that I would, because I like that the fact that they knew that there was pressure in middle map and they wanted to try and catch somebody off guard. If Brack wins that second gunfight on what would have been Cootie there, yeah, maybe you give yourselves a shot at the round. But I mean, that was such a difficult gunfight, especially against an NPC at that range while already being weak. So now we go back over towards B. This time it's going to be St. Clair on their offensive attempt looking forward. Seawads has the AR down towards the bottom. Ruper's still there too. They want to break out and just kind of pop out at the same time here. That's really what they're waiting for. They're just waiting for the information to come from the rest of the teammates. You can see Ruper slide challenge over towards the left. Dark side weak backs all the way off through Tiki, and now Fisher Falcons have the info.
Rupert 105 carrying the bomb as well. Someone you're trying to, like you said, relay information, get him a good window to get across for bomb. You can definitely get cover and get it planted. They were just waiting for the moment to do so, and they didn't realize pretty much all of Fisher right back to the A site as well. Brack's going to be the only one holding it down, so they have the site if they want it to an extent. As a lot of noise is going down here, that's going to be the call for St. Clair to get close, but Brack could find fantastic timing here as everyone's making noise on his team. Right under his nose, the bomb goes down, or does it?
He's spotting him out on the plant right there, but he didn't want to go for the challenge. He knows that somebody's stuck in the corner, and the smoke gets through, and he's able to walk away for free. Brack's going to be on the chase there. Rupert knows there's going to be one there, and he's just going to hop this directly instead. Does anybody go for the check on this? Yes, Seawads, who was playing around inside the pool, absolutely does. Gets great timing. He finds 3. All by his lonesome. Now alive is Confid. He runs directly into the beast of Rupert, and you think maybe if Brack gets the timing on the player there, or at least spots out that that was the bomb being planted, I think he kind of second-guessed himself. He's like, wait, is somebody there? Nah, he's not. Wait, somebody? Nah, he's not there. And then he just runs through the smoke, gets away for free. It's like, man, if anything else goes that way, Seawads never gets in this position to get set up in the water. And that round looks completely different.
And I do think if he'd realized that was someone planning, I don't think he would have let it go and get the plant.
And he also wouldn't aggress too far forward and push all the way through on the other side and put himself in a bad spot.
I think once he realized, yeah, that was a planter, I've got to get this kill. But like you said, he felt that pressure there. Just a perfect situation for St. Clair. Again, moments of hesitation like that or being unsure will take you down. But speaking of lack of hesitation, for that matter, Darkside's just going to run it down ring. He wants to get in the mix. He kills the guy's chomping at the bit to get kills. Things go even 2-2. Smoke's going to get you out of dodge if you're St. Clair, but Darkside 8-7. Engagement's wicked high here. You can tell he wants to push pace for Fisher, but that hasn't quite panned out for them until round translation wins.
You get the call if they're weak. And if you're Phantoms, you get the spot out middle map. I'm not sure if you saw 2 bodies or if you saw 1. Regardless, you expect them to be playing together no matter what. Up through the P5 cut, KB is going to jump up, spots out Brack inside of ring. This is going to give them information that they can back off through kitchen. Now it's going to be a full wrap back over towards laundry, and they're going to be right on top of each other here in just a moment. Rupert a jump chow up. Doesn't spot one on the bomb. Phantom should be able to get this down in time. This is leaving Brack all by himself on the ring side to have to walk away with a 1v1 gunfight. He's backed off to 47 HP, wrapping onto the Swan side. Still lots of time now on the push out. You got Phantoms looking for one inside of ring. Spotted Rooper on the cross through left-hand side. There's still a double back Chow, and you got Brack on the opposite end. They're playing pretty far spread out, but this is going to be a really good opportunity for them to walk away with a gunfight here.
Ooh, and you were just watching them cross these doorways. Well, at least we are.
Get the spot in the middle. KB, last alive. 1 versus 2, 18 seconds. Can't find the second player down low inside of the P5 pit. Phantoms walks away with a 1v1.
Man, so close. I mean, I'm just seeing kind of just those microseconds of just checking an angle, missing it, hopping the door frame. Moments that still didn't take Fisher by surprise. They knew just about where these players were bouncing between. Lots of damage dealt too. Either one of them could have fallen at any point, and I think St. Clair's wishing they could have finished one of those kills. But I mean, again, just great awareness. These are two players that 10 times out of 10 you'd want to take in a 2v2 clutch. Such seasoned veterans. Now as they give themselves an advantage, it was St. Clair getting a couple going there, a little bit of momentum. A good offense, how they opened up the search and destroy. They get another A round to stick as well. Phantoms 3 in a row, 10 and 3 as well. So he's still having a good search and destroy. Can he get the rest of the team on board?
Yeah, this is his best individual SD performance that we've seen all year. The problem, though, as we've seen so many times, is St. Clair just throws so many different looks at you from different parts of the map that the second that you overcommit to one, you're going to be allowed St. Clair an opportunity to get inside. So they get 2 for it from Rooper. You look back to the middle map, KB spots another one out on the rocks. Somehow Brack wins the gunfight. Much more manageable now in a 2 versus 3. Brack and Phantoms up through middle map. Back up to 100 HP is Brack. They are kind of wary about somebody wrapping through the spawn side, maybe hitting into Zig out through middle, but there's nobody there right now. You got one backed off in Tiki, other 2 playing mansion side. Brack is going to be able to spot one out, but now you're looking for Rooper on the contestation because you know he's there and he sees 2 people staring directly at him. He's like, okay, I have the information, but now I got to walk away with the gunfight. Slide around the corner. Rooper the third in the round. Teammate helps him finish it off. St. Clair tie us up at 4.
And the way that Fisher played that, you really could have asked for them to play it a different way. You were kind of talking to that wrap back through spawn, but Brack and Phantoms, they know there's no time for that.
Yep.
Too much to clear, too challenging of a gunfight at such a disadvantage. The pool stairs was really their only efficient option.
Yep.
It just couldn't get a good look at the gunfights. St. Clair do a great job not throwing away anything. We talk about how elite the level of Call of Duty and Search and Destroy specifically these teams play at. They don't fumble many of these rounds. We did see a 2v2 go the way of Fisher, of course, but we're not seeing many one-off situations or a man advantage situation that teams are squandering, and that's why we find ourselves tied at 4 apiece.
Rooper looking deep. Opts to pull out the sniper this time. Could catch this Fisher roster off guard. It's going to be Confid doing a little shoulder check, making sure that he gets a lane open, sees the glint of the sniper, and Rooper actually will pull out the NPC after the fact. So sniper will go away, gets kind of a little cheeky there with it. I'm not sure I love that. That's a little cheesy, but it's all good. He's now inside of Laundry playing by himself, and he's got 3 bodies starting to surround him. Up the staircase, 2 go forward. Cootie now on the wrap back all the way through. Dark side, 91 HP. Gets Peppers and everybody. They're going to be able to walk away with 2 gunfights here. Still the top side of Laundry. Rooper's able to get a double. Shots on the Phantoms. 1v2 for Cootie. Can't trace and track the kill down the staircase. So ill fortune falls to St. Clair. Fisher on top of the gunfights once again. We go back and forth every single round. It's basically offense for offense for offense for offense. For offense.
Yeah. I'll look at that last one. Is Fisher winning another battle just all out flying at Laundry? And the sniper play is interesting to me too because you see that sniper glint, but I think Fisher go, okay, let's close distance. Let's try to back them out of Laundry completely, or at least trust that they had some kind of advantage, whether it was a false sense of confidence in the sense that someone maybe still has a sniper out. But again, I keep calling the dark side. You can see he just wants to make that his home. He wants to make them uncomfortable, and they're doing a really good job at that. They're sliding out, playing each other in their lives perfectly whenever they do take those aggressive, just bully out situations. Brack once again on the island over at the B site. Ring pressure leading the charge. Dark side wants to get around mid-map, wants to try to get into over here.
Cootie slow. Rooper opposite side of the map. Brack eliminated from contention here in round 10. St. Clair trying to force a round 11 here. Rooper with bomb in hand. 7 and 8 for himself. Everybody has played a well-rounded search and destroy from St. Clair. Need a little bit more out of KB here in these final rounds. Didn't expect necessarily all that much from him given the KD on the weekend, but still, it's a full wrap back over on the basketball court. You got 2 bodies there and the bomb goes down. 45 seconds left in a retake. You got Confidence out of middle map. C1's inside of the Tiki looking for 1. Nade's going to affect him. Get him weak up into the pool. You got 2 bodies over here. They see Rooper. They should know C1's is close.
Lying in wait. The rest of your team has to get in position. Try to get eyes on bomb, trying to back these players down. The collapse comes in.
He's done it once before. Can he do it again? KB lines up 2 from behind. Darkside finds C-Wads. But again, such a difficult spot to be in because there's so many different wrapping positions that you could be in here. And KB gets out of dodge, sprints through middle, and now he's got a tweak. Did he go money? Did he go mansion? There's still one on the top side, and with only 11 seconds left, you're not going to have any time here if you're Phantoms, regardless of if you walk away with these kills. St. Clair will force the round 11. Another bang-out game here between our top teams.
And another offense at that. We will just add that to the tally for the day. Keep the total rolling.
It's Raid.
It's Raid.
2026 on Black Ops 7. You're going to win
If you can't win an offense on Raid in 2026, we have bigger problems than Raid being here in 2026.
All right. We've gone down to the wire. Both teams going back and forth. 11 kills between Phantoms and Darkside. On the opposite end, you got 3 players with 8 and 1 with 7. Very consistent out of 1. Pop-off performances on the other. Do Fisher have one more round that they can get on them? Can St. Clair keep consistent through all 11 rounds of the Search and Destroy? So many questions, but the answer will be telling when the first blood pops off. Nades, stuns, tacks, everything in between being thrown out of the other team. No trophies down around the map just yet. Information being given out, though, that players are inside a middle map for St. Clair.
And you see Fisher going back to that A site that they love so much. They don't have laundry control. Your SMG going to try to get up here, try to get the better end of the timing. We're going to see Rupert trying to get eyes on things mid, but it's going to be Darkside slide out. You have also the numbers to make that happen, so Bomb does go down. And let's keep these quick on the wraparound to get this kill, which he is. Yep. That's going to be problematic for the retake, but now they put themselves in a sweet spot. You've got to isolate these players quickly.
They force them all back around through jungle. It's going to be a retake on the defensive spawn side here for St. Clair. Rupert at 71 HP tries to slide around, is able to snap for 2. All of a sudden, now it's a 1 versus 2. Confid last alive, but 2 and 10 S&D performance can all be mitigated if you win the round 11 here. He's going to wrap to the bottom side of Library. Hop up to the top. Nobody on the bomb just yet. Gets a spot out on 1. Rupert weakened up with 15 HP. Now it's 15 seconds left of the round and the defuse coming through. Opposite side of the bomb. You have to make your move now if you're confident. You have to go. You have to check. But they planted it for the opposite side, and instead of giving a chance, they hop the defuse. They get the round 11 win, and Confid caught sleeping on the opposite side of the map. His 2 teammates died. A Rupert on a double chow that came through jungle, and everything falls apart.
And you just feel for that moment, realizing you're on the wrong side of the play. I think the chase out to get the planner and Phantoms killed definitely let that retake come through a lot quicker. I think Rupert, realizing how close he was like, I can't let this guy get out of here for free. So that was kind of step 1 in getting that retake going on. And to be able to walk away with it by making Confid kind of have to just move, relocate after the play, get him on the bad side of the bomb, have that awareness, hop it immediately. A way to clutch up in a round of 11 is big time, but I mean, Alex, looking at this here, there's something jumping out to both of us. I think it's something along the lines of first bloods.
Yeah, I mean, you go in terms of 11 rounds, you go 7-4 in first bloods overall. Obviously, St. Clair losing a few of those early rounds to first bloods that went their way, especially on those offenses. That one offense that they did lose in round 3, that was when it was a bang out over at the backside of Laundry. It's a little weird there, because the thing is like if you're sending 2 bodies there and the offense is sending 3 bodies there, right? Yeah, you might get the first blood on somebody that's pushing aggressive through Laundry, but the idea is to weaken that first player up for a trade. Yeah. Either get it to a 3v3 and then have bodies there to where you can still force a 2v1 on that backside and then have the advantage at A. All you're trying to do every time on offense, especially if you're playing ringside, you're trying to push through, get Laundry control, get the plant for the side that is going to be concurrent, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much how it has to be every single time. So bait out somebody. That map had happened to be Confid, as he had 4 first deaths and went to a 10. And like I said, he had a great game against Wichita State. Doesn't kind of show through in the same way here against St. Clair. It's been kind of a lackluster winter final for him so far. Map 3, still an opportunity to get the ball rolling. But now you're down 0-2. And this is a much different look because we kind of felt confident about Fisher. It's a 13-point loss in game 1. It's a 1-round loss that comes down to basically a 1v2 at the end of the game there for Fisher, to where it's like you're not losing these maps in margins that are like, well, you know, we gave it our best. It's like these are heartbreakers, map after map after map. This is good stuff to go back and look for if they do end up losing the series going to a grand final. But now you're going to a map 3 overload where it's like, all right, what's our game plan here?
Yeah, I think the game
plan. Clutch up?
I think Fisher probably needs to, like they did in the hard point, kind of open the doors for Darkside. And I think Confid likes to play fast. I think you stick him at the hip almost, you know, not literally speaking, but I think you get Confid running at pace with Darkside. I think you get him turned back up, get to a good spot, get him to good fight wins. Just to get him feeling himself again. Like you said, it has been slow. It's only winter finals, so again, there's really nothing on the line in the sense of nothing's going to happen if you have a stinker of a series. It does happen. He's someone, though, you can tell, and obviously in talking to him, he plays with a lot of pride when he is playing well. He wants to perform for his team, knowing he's one of the younger guys. He really does want to show up. So I think the comeback does start for Fisher with him. I think he does have to be kind of the emphasis. Everyone else has shown what they'll provide in the respawns. Brack has done a fantastic job. Darkside's pushing pace, popping big kills. Phantoms in the search and destroy just had an absolute takeover from delegating, bomb planning, everything. Confid's the one piece that's missing to really get this team to bridge the gap between a 1-round loss and a 13-point loss. I really think he's that missing portion for them.
I do too. And like the point that you made yesterday that we brought up at the beginning of the broadcast, right, was like, what does St. Clair have that other teams here don't have? And it's the ability for everybody to play a consistent game, map after map after map after map. There's not one person where you're looking to asking for a better performance. It's usually like, oh, everybody's had a damn good performance in this game this week, whatever it may be. And again, as you were pointing out, it's like, we have that on Fisher now. It's like, we don't want to have to sit there and ask the question over and over again, like, when or can Confid be able to step up in this series? Again, you're at the precipice of a championship opportunity here on the doorstep. With a series win here, you're guaranteed to be the favorite seed going into the winner or into the grand finals championship for the season. There's no more kind of retakes. There's no mulligan. There's no kind of step backs and chances of being like, all right, well, I know I had 2 bad maps. Like, technically, yes, it kind of is where you're going to the losers finals and you have a chance to run it back, but you want all the advantages in the world going into winners finals. Like in the CDL, for example, like most of the time, the team that ends up taking that series is the team from the winner bracket. Not only do they have the full momentum, but they have their vetoes that they can pick. They have a lot of their maps that they're going to want to be able to sneak into the play. Whoever gets there is going to be able to do that inside of this series regardless. So if St. Clair is able to take not only a 3-0, yeah, Fisher have to go down to the bottom bracket. They might have to play a Cumberland Phoenix roster in that round, which took them to a pretty close series the last time they played, and there's no guarantees that they beat that team a second time here on LAN.
Nothing is guaranteed. I mean, again, to have to go down and think that could be the possibility they're facing if they don't find a way to get themselves some momentum going in this series. That's kind of the urgency that they do need to play with. And as we kind of zoom in on Overload, we'll have a look here at maybe preferentially throughout the regular season, postseason up until LAN, what things have looked like. The Overload KD from this weekend, the Overload KD for the team favors St. Clair, but none of these numbers are intensely stark because, again, you talk about that. You do have to put the asterisk of skew of they've only played 3 Overload maps the entirety. And, of course, Fisher being taken to more series, you do talk about the numbers maybe leaning one way a little bit, but I mean, about as even as we've seen throughout the series for all of these modes, respectively. Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is like, yeah, there is a lot of kind of like weird disparity between them. It's like, they've all played the same. The thing is like, Overload is like at least one of the games where you can sit there and say, look, we only play it once
the
in the
same
series,
amount,
so it's like we can actually have justifiable data that quantifies the exact same for both teams because we have the same sample size. Yeah. So for Darkside to be at 131 overall on the KD leaderboard, and then the next closest person being a 117, the only difference here being that, yes, while Darkside has been fantastic in Overload, the rest of the team is nowhere to be seen on the top 10 list, while all of St. Clair is up there from 9th and better. So
yeah,
it's like,
and that's definitely
job,
something.
Darkside.
Yeah, it is something that you look at and go, kind of like suck your teeth at, because knowing they're down 0-2, seeing the numbers that we have up until this point from Overload, you start to kind of feel apprehensive about the Overload chances, just, again, how consistently St. Clair plays as all 4 players. And to the point you were making about, look, they haven't been bad losses. You know, it is a 13-point loss in map 1. It is a 1-run loss in map 2. That still puts you down 0-2, whether it's a 100-point club or whether it's a 10-point loss. All the same, you have to win 3 straight maps to take it back. So yes, they do play close within themselves. And you and I both know that, you know, that does tell a story of how competitive it is between these teams. That doesn't change the fact that a loss is a loss, and you still have so much work to do here. A 1-1 looks way different than going into an Overload down 0-2 against St. Clair. So Darkside, you always point to him as the respawn guy is, hey, you got a lot of work to do. I know your teammates really haven't been there as far as Overload is concerned with top performances consistently. You do need to see all of that come together here for St. Clair, given that, like you said, all of them are top 9 or better. Definitely worrisome if you're in the Falcons camp wanting them to kick off one of what would need to be 3 straight maps to keep their winners bracket hopes alive. St. Clair all smiles on the other side of things. They are happy to go into this Scar Overload. They want to close the series out here, give themselves the advantage to grand finals.
So all the bumps means we're getting ready to go. As Amber said, they want to get themselves in the grand finals as quickly as humanly possible. Again, they have not dropped a map the entire weekend whatsoever. It was almost the exact same when we were looking through like the different regional playoffs. I don't think they lost a map in regional playoffs. In the CCL playoffs, they might have lost one, but I also don't know if they did or not. Again, I think it might have been a closer series against them, but I mean, pretty much for the entirety of the year, St. Clair has gone almost uncontested inside of collegiate Call of Duty. So it's like, all right. I mean, I know we've talked them and diced them up all weekend, but now's the time to finally get themselves into the grand finals. It could be the end of speculation and at least a guarantee that we will see the Griffins and the Saints inside of the collegiate Call of Duty 2026 Grand Championship Grand Finals, whatever you want to call it. It's up to you. Hipfire shot's good there from Brack, but it's going to be Rupert who falls. Seawad's on the back end, now going to fall to the hands of the Fisher Falcons. And in through middle map, you still have players surviving here from St. Clair. So although north side got locked down, it's still the middle of the map that you need to be wary about. Lots of bodies up for Saints.
Cootie's going to take care of business on the left-hand side of the map. On the top right-hand side of the map, Brack is going to lock things down off the opening break. And as you said, still a lot to fight for in the middle, a lot of in-between for these teams to try to fight for, and that's exactly what the battle market is going to be all about. Fisher Falcons end up taking it. They skip the payload. Now, here they are on the move.
Brack wants to push forward, so does Phantoms. Got lead blockers out. Seawad's top side of blue. And towards the bottom of blue, though, Phantoms will make a route, get back out over towards A, and this should be relatively uncontested, and it will be. Even though Cootie gets shots in, it's going to be Fisher who score first. So on the board early here, first minute score for the Falcons. You look to Cootie, who now is trying to push out through his back spawn, but you still got a lot of bodies set up here. What St. Clair were trying to do is they were trying to flip this out towards the north side of the map, and I love the play from Brack here, because not only does that kind of give information to Fisher, but it shuts down everything that they were trying to set up on a rally back and a counterattack. So you still got Confident alive here. Top side of blue, he's got himself already up to 2. KB trying to go ahead and trade everything out here. They got the north side controlled.
Brack is trying to line wait, holding iron for a moment. Doesn't realize how close Cootie's playing to him, but Cootie on the rat back going to be good for the kill with the SMG up close. So as it starts to falter, as you see St. Clair try to concentrate their efforts towards the middle of the map. They want to maybe get mid-cut control before they try to work this back, work this across. We'll see what they can do here. Now they're starting to walk down Fisher. They're taking up space.
Huge gunfight here for Cootie. As Darkside on the back line, just as big as a gunfight for Darkside, though, because they're not trying to let up the pressure. You still got Confident who's holding that middle inner cut, waiting to get past 18 and Gen. Seawad's up through the P5 cut, tries to get top green, knows that there's going to be one there. Tough gunfight there as he's hopping up against Phantoms. Now Rupert with the pistol in hand. He's got the overload objective, and it stays in top green because it spawns in the last touch spot on the ground. So wherever he left the ground last is where it's going to spawn. Fisher very lucky to just drop in.
Ooh, when I thought over the top rope, you might have had that for just a second, but here you see the quick retaliation come through. You've got to get Cootie killed, and all of a sudden you have a clean lane towards the zone, but off spawn, St. Clair do a good job of picking up their lanes. They get things taken care of. They mitigate the effort. Everyone takes a breath for a moment. Let's get it set up, pick up our cuts, and we'll work the payload from there.
Oh, Cootie thought that nade was going to connect, and it absolutely did. I didn't think Brack was going to turn around to the opposite side. I thought he was just going to push it straight forward. They go 2 for 2, though, nonetheless. Middle map still where St. Clair are trying to harbor their nature. North side of the map is where the payload's going to spawn. Fisher are trying to not only spread that out, but clear out the middle of the map. It's market still, where KB has been living 2 in a row. Now goes out with a pistol and a challenge. It's a double back from Brack, and still now for St. Clair applying the pressure here to the middle map. P1 hold good. This might be the first look that Fisher's going to need here on the top side spawn.
Surrounded. Seawad's a lot of gunfights to have to take. He's going to dance around. He's going to just try to rip these players off these head glitches, and then the mid-map, like you said, St. Clair winning that battle. Once again, looking to push forward. You're just giving clearance, trying to give yourself a little bit of cushion for Seawad's to scoop the objective and score. You're losing these gunfights. You're still going to give the green light. You're going to be up to Rupert to try to make some noise over here at B.
KB, hop up, pistol good. Where does the payload go, though? Kind of stuck inside of top green and out towards the bottom middle. Rupert wants to clear the space out, and he absolutely will. Gunfight in the back. They're going to be able to stop it. Confit there, but he can't find the third in enough time. They go 4 down. Could be an opportunity for a rally and a counterattack now from Fisher, but the good news here, if you're a Saints fan, you're tied up at 1 apiece.
When you thought they really should have punched in and did. You thought Fisher, you did enough just to stop it, but like you said, you couldn't find the third. You try to get a little transition play going, try to get out towards P2 and get control, but instead it's going to be retaliation from St. Clair. They're going to try to work another quick point.
Darkside falls in through the air once again. It was Cootie trying to jump challenge out and forward. You got 2 more bodies hitting up through market right now if you're the Saints. Got KB on the inside, out on P1, Seawad's falls. Elimination still hitting here for the Fisher Falcons. 48 seconds left in the round. Well, 1 or 2 more opportunities for a cap for either of these teams. But now Brack's basically by his lonesome. He's got one pushing with him. Darkside's going to be the one that has to go ahead and take this gunfight, but top blue is such a power position that you got to be able to watch for, and Seawad's is up there in the line.
KB trying to take another gunfight up close and personal. That one going to go the way of Fisher Falcons. So they have got to the 50-yard line of the map first, just trying to make sure that they don't get a retaliation play. And St. Clair trying to take P2 control. You know they want to work this south side. With 21 seconds left, they've got to make something stick. You see they're a little apprehensive. They want to make sure they do it right, but they're running out of time.
Ooh, KB up and down twice there. I don't know. It didn't look too snaky. Might have a red card conversation in just a bit, but he's led the line forward now as it's going to be a 9 spree between everybody. 4 bodies dead, and at the buzzer, St. Clair will waltz it right into the A point. Go ahead and give themselves a halftime lead of just a single payload score.
And that one does feel a little more monumental than a 1 score, just because Fisher was so close. Like you said, it was CWAD's top blue that shut the entire play down. It was Brack trying to sneak across, and all you hope to do is, okay, spawn up, make sure you don't give them a chance to waltz across the map. They try to concentrate those efforts in the middle where KB has been making his home. He makes that easier. You win a couple of gunfights. P2, all of a sudden you're 4 down. Again, with how consistently these players can each be lead blocker, shoot and chop players down off spawn. For St. Clair, it was a perfect opportunity for them. They said, let's not waste any time. We're not going to delay. Let's punch one in before half. Though it is 1 point, that one hits a little harder, in my opinion, for the Fisher camp, knowing they shouldn't have even let that happen.
Could not agree more with you, Amber. Now this time St. Clair going to the side. They might actually prefer a little bit more just to get lost inside of top blue. I know it's something that they've loved to do consistently in Overload. On this map, Scar, that is their pick. I think they're feeling poised to maybe be able to pull something out of their ace. Darkside now looking to push this way forward. Got one top red. Good shots onto KB. They've got 3 down already. Now it's through the middle of the map. They need to be wary because C1's still playing the mid cut. It's going to be deep green spawns. Great opportunity now as C1 is weakened up to be able to get some positioning here. But he knows that one's going to be sliding on the way forward. Good fight there onto Confid. Your backline has been completely collapsed upon. The payload is down and it's all 4 dead. St. Clair going to be able to scoop this up, fly immediately through middle. And C1 is already close on the counterattack on the opposite side. Front RB up at the top. Blue, you got one on the white van in front. And hey, guess what? It's another 2 kills. Team kill comes through. You still got the payload in your possession. You're trying to overwhelm fly forward. You're going to be able to do it. 3-1 detonated. And now you're looking for streaks for CWAD.
CWAD's got him on the board. He has him in the pocket. He is completely streaked out to this point, 17 and 10. And like you said, getting lost top blue is something that he's very happy to do here, just to continually apply pressure, not make it easy for Fisher to get any kind of retaliation points. They find themselves up 3-1. It was a late goal in the first half. It's an early one here in the second half. Now with a minute ticked off the clock, Fisher need to get things rolling sooner than later.
Stun back. C-Wants falls in the hands of Darkside. And it looks like every time you see that kill feed continue to pop up, it just goes back and forth. It's a little bit of blue here, a little bit of white there. Red falls to the floor, and you've got the American flag here for the Fisher Falcons that they're trying to stripe up to get another one on the board. St. Clair from the Canadian side of the border looking to go ahead and claim something for Canada for the first time in CCL history. They want to get to the grand finals to play. With 3 minutes and 30 seconds left, they've got to stop Fisher from scoring twice.
And this mid-cut control is going to be everything. If you're Fisher, you have to make sure you take care of it if you want to advance the payload. And because CWAD is able to get those kills, it opens it up with a quick scoop. The rally is going to come through, and those CWAD's falls, you're still going to have KB cut through that lane just to apply pressure, make Fisher not try to get flat-footed on where the attack is coming from. Who is it? Cootie, another SMG player, though AR in hand, getting lost in and around this middle blue building. Finally gets taken care of. Crisis averted. Fisher with an opportunity now to move, but again, they're going to have to do just that. They've got to get this payload moving.
You got the full wrap back. You've got bottom red. You've got middle map looked on the outlook with 3 players there. Nobody controlling market, and top blue falls. So that's your backline contention completely gone, and it's going to be a deep spawn back blue. You're going to have to watch this wrap through, and exactly where KB is looking is exactly where the Fisher Falcons are spawning. They do exactly what they wanted to do on that wrap back, but the bodies that they have are dropping still. You've got a player pushed up through middle map in Confid. Brack on the top side of red. Nobody's able to find the player market until just now. And now you've got the back 3 players from St. Clair here. You've got to win these gunfights. One more wave will get you the push in. It'll get you the score. Darkside's able to find it. Unfortunately, the payload's just sitting there, and the last player alive trying to push their way up the map will finally fall in Phantoms. The push that never was, unfortunately, falls short.
Everyone in the mix, everyone in the kill feed. You can look at the kill column, the scorecard for us here for St. Clair. I mean, again, it's always, the entire series been plus or minus 5 with one another. It is just so consistent across these 4 players. On the other side, a stark disparity. Darkside, is he pushing pace? You get into the conversation, is it too quick for how the rest of the team is playing? The score is 3-1. They don't have much to show for it. And when Darkside engages those gunfights a little bit earlier than everyone else is anticipating, that can throw a wrench in the entire offensive play. And now if you're St. Clair, I mean, you really can just kind of toy with it. You can pick for the lane that you want to push through.
Still time. Getting into the desperation mode, though, for Fisher. Top side, Hellstorm called in after 2 kills go the way of St. Clair on the top side of the plane wing. You got north side control in full. You got full callouts now coming in and information being given. inside of blue. You're looking for those final few players on Fisher, but it's all in the name of making sure that you keep this map completely pushed the opposite way. Don't let Fisher get even an inch. And although they have had moments of opportunity where they've been given an inch and haven't capitalized on it, you don't want to give it to them anymore.
No matter what the scoreline is, a team you do not want to falter to in the slightest. All they need is a slight window
Hang on.
to make magic happen. And this might be it, but I mean, mid-cut, they have just been able to run through. It has been all St. Clair the entirety of the game. This could be their opening. They get the player killed mid-cut, but the objective player gets chopped down. A window of opportunity. Sealed shut here now, 45 seconds left.
It's a decision that St. Clair make off the spawn that have changed the complexion of this map. They don't all just run together. It's the way that they spread everybody out, and when you realize that you're the second or third one up to spawn, all of a sudden, everything changes. So, credit where credit's due. It's been awesome. Dark side, though, trying to push his way forward. Once number 3 in a row. Pistol challenge. Oh, would have been one more bullet he would have needed. Still trying to go ahead and grab the overload objective. Wrapping it back to spawn side with 27 seconds. You really don't have a lot of time to do this. You have to commit here in the middle map, but Rooper's going to be inside of market. Looking for the second. Great shots are good. Rack now has to just fly out, but guess what? Who is it? It's Super Rooper finding all 3, and Cootie will max on for the final 4. All of Fisher back to the respawn block. Everybody now being held back. And for the first time in a long time, St. Clair are going to find themselves fighting for a national championship in a grand final here in Collegiate Call of Duty. Is this the year the streak gets broken? We'll find out. They're the first team to enter into the best of 7.
Grand finals ticket punched in St. Louis. In high-flying fashion at that, reaching new heights here for the first time this weekend. And you said it, advantage, theirs. First ticket to the grand finals, theirs. The sigh of relief you have from knowing, okay, we did the hard part. We gave ourselves as many out-of-game advantages as possible as far as the vetoes are concerned, as far as, you know, not having to dip down into lower bracket, having room to work with. And for Fisher, and the cams, talking to the players, do they look too pressed, too stressed? No, they don't. It was a close series through and through. It looks like an 0-3 loss, but unless you were with us for all 3 of these maps, unless you were with us throughout the entirety of these maps, they could not have played closer. These are 2 of the most touted teams in the CCL. It was a fantastic series, and 0-3 doesn't look great, but whenever you dive into each of the maps, it's just been a fantastic product they've put on for us. So it will be Fisher bouncing down to the lower bracket for the moment. St. Clair get the edge, and they give themselves a little bit of time to relax, a little bit of time to watch some VOD of these other teams. But the conversation starts to shift for Fisher Falcons, like you said, towards, okay, you know, you have that lower bracket run you have to make. Call it a run, call it a jog, whatever you want. You know, it is just the one round, the losers finals they do have to take. But to put a bow on this series here, I mean, like I said, like we have said, it's plus or minus 5 in the KD every time.
It is.
They're just, like you said, out of spawn. They're not out of sync ever.
No.
If you're first up, I mean, and you know, like running around in scrims or 8s or different things. All right, first off spawn. After, you know, this next wave, first off spawn, rotate new. Okay, first off spawn, go anchor. You know, it's just everyone has their role off spawn, and that's not even every single time in a sense. But the moment you were talking about, right, we're saying like, oh, I'm the second spawner, I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
That's stuff that they don't have to waste words communicating. They can calm everything else around the map. And I think it's just those little things you start to look at teams that play at this high of a level. That's why they have these numbers as well. They just aren't out of sync. Everyone knows where they need to go, what they need to do, based on what they're trying to work on the map. It's just wonderful to see.
No, it is. St. Clair have been playing fantastic Call of Duty, not only just this run through the LAN finals, but all season long. This has been a consensus number 1, number 2 team. If it's not your top team inside of the CCL, or at least it hasn't been through the season because Oklahoma Christian were still there, the lowest spot that you could probably put them would be number 2. This is a team that played not only through most of the entire Challenger season last year under the Cabal roster, but have been playing inside of the CCL. I believe this is their second full year in totality with an exact 4. But ever since getting a few of these players from the LATAM region, being able to bring them up across the border into Canada, and get this St. Clair program for Call of Duty truly shining through in the moments that they need them. Like we talked all the time, right? It was like, okay, hey, guess what? You know, St. Clair, it's like they're looking good this year. Can they do it? Like, how many teams have we had that as like the storyline for them? It's like they could be great, but are they going to get over the hump? And that was more so just because we had Oklahoma Christian at the top, we had Northwood at the top beforehand, and those were kind of like the definitive number 1 teams where we didn't necessarily expect anybody to beat them, but we were like, maybe we get lucky this time. And it's like, no, we're not lucky. But I will say this. we are about, I believe, to maybe hop into some of the Bravo matches that are going on. Cumberland still up 2-0 over the side of Wichita State, but I heard Wichita State here in map 3 could very well be making their way on a comeback. We're going to take a break. You guys are going to get a live look into this. Oh, no, never mind. We're staying on. I thought we were getting a break. Never mind. After the replay, I think we're going to get that on the drop down potentially. So that is what was coming to my ear. I either misheard that or there was something in between there that did not fully make sense to my brain. So that being said, we are going to get the Bravo stream action here coming live to you. I know I said earlier that this was on the college Bravo stream on Twitch. Apparently that hasn't been live the whole weekend. So if you've been trying to look to the College COD Bravo stream for the gameplay that we've been alluding to, apparently the information we got was that it was going to be on there. It's only on YouTube. So if you're wanting to watch that, this is the final match on the Bravo stream anyways. Everything else is going to be wrapped up here. So really this is just null and void information at this point. But yeah, here we go. Looks like we're hopping into game here between Wichita State and Cumberland Phoenix. As you can see, 6-4, 2:30 left. Another Scar overload to go here. But Cumberland, they are on basically the close out the precipice of being able to send Wichita State packing.
There's still 2 minutes to work with. They have time to get this objective going. I mean, just looking at things by Deucer having a lackluster performance, Honor maybe a little bit slower, so just kind of getting the eye check of Slaying and what that looks like. Oh, you're going to try to come across, but Cal just doesn't know he's here. Wait a minute!
Cal got the turn with the pistol. You called it perfectly. My eyes were locked on it as well. Exotic played the best spot possible and somehow still ends up losing that second gunfight. Insanity.
I know we have a 1-score game with 90 seconds left, so if you're Wichita State, you don't really get to just sit back and play defense. You kind of need to make sure that, okay, you can't play to not lose. You've got to play to win at this point. Though you have a 1-score lead, you need to be smart, but you can't just sit back and let the game come to you.
Another 3 down here for Cumberland. Peach the last one alive here, bottom side of Fred. You've got players and blockers making their way forward, but Peach has had 3 in a row, and he's effectively shut down this entire push going forward, or has he? Cal goes and pops himself a 2-piece. Drop down here from Peach, gets behind Jen, wants to play back on P2, and now they can push their way forward. Payload directly in front of them. Exotic now trading back around. Snap back to the right-hand side. He's got more bodies flying forward, disfigured at 25 and 25. He wants to get back, and he wants to push this objective even further.
You get the kill mid out of Peach. He's able to shot that down, but this line is surging forward quick. Do we have a tied game here in a moment? With one more kill that comes in, you surely think that's a chance. He gets the cover. He gets the slide. We are tied, Alex.
6-6, 60 seconds remain. Ciaro pushing up his map. Kaiser there still. Cal laying down bottom green has found 2 players, and now bodies continuing to drop. Are you fucking serious, Cal? My God. Tie game still, 45 seconds left. He makes the play, Honor pushes forward, we still go. Ciaro will fall, now it's Wichita State on the opposite end with this figure holding inside of P1. Cal pushing his way up inside of bottom market, and you betcha he's got the hot hand. 29 and 18, tries to snap back left, Exotic will fall, this figure there. Now it's a double kill, 30 seconds.
Here we go, the play around the site. The spike's going to reset in and around mid. The gunfights go down. It's even for the moment, but you're going to get a touch here if you're Cumberland. Now you're just trying to play for the kills. Give yourself an opening to try to scoop this and go, but the play is going to be on Honor. He's been slow for the moment with the submachine gun. You need him to make the play now.
What a play, though. He's able to find one. Will the second one hop up? It looks like he's going to try and sneak out the backside of green. Cal's going to grab it. 7 seconds left. We'll go overtime here in 5 seconds. Now with the pistol challenge, just going to lay down out front, waiting for the rest of the teammates to be there. We have 30 seconds added on top of this before we go into technical overtime. If Cal dies, the round ends, and we go to the first team to score in, well, I guess a shorter amount of time than the other, and there we go. Regulation over. If you don't know how overtime works here in Overload, we'll explain it real quick. What's going to happen? Think about like Uplink back in the day. It's essentially where, or even Capture the Flag, the first team to score is going to then put a timer restriction on the other team. That team will then need to cap in less time than the first team does when that ball then respawns and both teams get back to the respawn. So for example, say Cumberland goes out and they get a score in the first 35 seconds. You are then put on a 35-second timer for the side of Wichita State to then be able to go and then attack, score, and it needs to be under that time limit. So that is all it comes down to. We played for a finality score beforehand. This is all about timing. 5 minutes to play here. Cumberland on the brink of sending Wichita State home. A 4-6 comeback is what led us to this point, and it's a grenade out through middle map from Honor that finds Deucer. They've got 3 bodies down. They go for 4. They can't find them.
Pistol comes in. Cal's going to get the cleanup on Exotic's 2-piece to at least respond. So you have a couple players here, and now that's going to be the green light call to go forward. But unfortunately, you walk straight into a trap that Wichita State set off spawn. So a good job of them just to be able to make sure, hey, we don't give them a quick play. We need to survive this opening onslaught, and they do. Now decision time goes back to Wichita State. We're going to scoop it. We're going to wrap back. How do we want to work this towards the north side of the map?
Exotic looking out to the right. Peach is there too. This figured good kill inside a spawn, but Kaiser gets the best timing in the world, and they've got themselves an opening here. They don't necessarily recognize that Honor's on the low side of the map playing by red, and that kind of thwarts the play that was coming through. But Peach got through to top green, unanswered, unchecked. Now bottom over by red. Ciara will be there for the train. Honor inside of market gets another one up. They've got mid-map control, but on the opposite side of the map from the spawn side is Wichita State, who win the gunfights. Now trying to push this inside of maybe market, try to wrap up through middle map. They've got the kills coming through. Cal's there. They go top north side. They want to go through plane.
The Cumberland Phoenix are rolling now, and as they look to fly towards this side, they're getting all of their players set up where they need to be. They need to get the mid-map cutoff taken care of. Exotic does that now. They can concentrate their efforts towards White Wall. They need to kill the rest of these players. There's one player left standing. That will be the payload holder.
Wait a second.
Get gunned down by Sorrow. All of a sudden, he has a position to make a play, but Deucer on the cleanup at least gives you a sigh of relief for just a moment.
Deep spawns out. Exotic now pushing. Inside top green, first gunfight goes his way. He's got 45 kills here in a closeout game to send Wichita State home. Back out over towards middle. It's Cal and Ciara once again. You've got good shots in the back, but you can't walk away with a gunfight there. Everybody dead. We flip back to offense here for Cumberland.
The scoop, the bottom side of the map, running through mid, everyone lining up, and you have Cal in a great position. You just need to find a couple kills. You have to find a way to get across to him to make that easier, but unfortunately, everyone looks to fall onto the last one alive mid, 1v1, but it gets traded out immediately. So now on transition, Wichita State looking to get out, looking to fill space. Away they go.
2 minutes pass by here in overtime. Both teams looking for the coveted first score. The more time that passes by here, the more time you're given to the opposite team on the second half of it. But Exotic, the last alive here, has to go crazy. His teammates can't get there. Phoenix will score. They set the time to beat. Now Wichita State have 2 minutes and 8 seconds in order to score this, or they will be sent home and out of contention for the championship here in 2026.
We're flirting with a 50 bomb out of Exotic.
And he'll probably get there.
And he'll probably get there.
If he doesn't, it would be a shock.
And then he's halfway to his age.
That would suck. There's a reason he's got glasses at the venue here today.
Oh, man.
Eyesight fades over time. What a series we have been treated to here so far between not only the winners bracket teams and the lower bracket teams as well. Robert's upset that I made fun of his glasses. Don't worry, Robert. I wear them too, just not in front of me right now. 49-30, 14-35 from Deucer. Just feels like you want something more out of here in this final round. Exotics had to go like genuinely nuclear here. We use that term a lot, but I mean that in order to keep Cumberland off of their tail. Unfortunately, though, the comeback is in. It's Peach and Exotic who find two. Now you're trying to clear out their middle map. You got to find Ciara here on the white van. Instead, it's Sorrow who finds himself three. They turn this back around, and what looked like it was going to be the perfect setup for Wichita State to score early on here. Now everybody's dead, and you have to rethink the entire setup.
Cumberland Phoenix trying to get a foothold in mid-map. They don't want to let Wichita State get any kind of momentum rolling. They don't want to give them a green light to, attack them. They know they need to continually apply pressure, which is what they tried to do. Sure, you got cut down and thwarted there, but Cal, out to 43 of his own kills, going to try to keep this offensive line just off spawn, giving Wichita State troubles. Now they have an opportunity to scoop and score here. They're in position to make it happen.
Cal on the back end. Ciara needs to be cut down. You've got the gunfight there. He wins it with the pistol, and Wichita State, after a 6-4 lead in the overload, have two caps on them back-to-back from the Cumberland roster, go to an overtime that lasts for 2 minutes in the first round, get the score in, and then cannot stop another score coming from the Cumberland Phoenix all the way towards the end of that game, which again means that Wichita State now effectively find themselves dropped out, finishing with top 4 placement here on LAN, and no longer have a chance at a championship in 2026.
That was only our second match of the day we have.
Yeah, that was losers round 1. And I mean, look at the stat line on that series too. Just look at all those maps.
I mean, they gave us fortunately the final moments of map 1 and 2, and to jump in thinking Wichita State, can you get it going? To jump in at a 6-4.
Yep.
And for it to end that way, God, I love LAN.
And the crazy thing, too, is like people are going to join this stream throughout the day. Maybe they're East Coast, West Coast, wherever they are. Maybe getting off work on a Sunday, or they're watching something else. I know we got a lot of Game 7s in basketball today, so you're probably watching any of those and going like, oh, let me check the CCL scores real quick to see what's happening on LAN real quick. Oh, 2-3-0s. It's like it couldn't be further from the truth.
Honestly.
Yes, obviously the scoreline says 3-0, but I mean a 13-point game in Map 1 for a winners final series or winners quarter series for the first. No, it was winter finals. Let me stop second guessing myself because I do that way too much.
I know, just a small bracket pool.
13-point win, 1 round win for round 11. Then we go 2 scores inside of the overload where Fisher were playing fantastic. St. Clair was still there, and everything was looking fantastic for them. So yes, St. Clair in the grand finals now, but on the lower side as well. Again, another round 11 in the S&D between Cumberland and Wichita. A 30-point game in map 1.
An overtime
and
comeback
then
win.
an overtime comeback, which is the first overtime we've seen on LAN all weekend. All for it to be a 3-0 for Cumberland. And now we have 2 series of the day that look like washes on paper, but we're completely close, and I can't wait for these top 3 because this is going to be a bang out.
And to think the high that Cumberland's going to be riding in on to be tested, also to have a 3-0 though, but to know that you're getting Fisher. The quick, the quick shift you have to do there, right? The thrill of winning that is fantastic.
Yep.
Alex, but how quickly does your mental change to go kind of snap back to reality and be like, okay, job's not done. Big win, top 3 placement. We got to lock back in for what's coming now because Fisher's coming to us and we need to be ready.
Top 3 have been solidified here inside of our championship Sunday. We've got the Fisher Falcons, the St. Clair Saints, and the Cumberland Phoenix. The 2 teams doing battle here to move on to the grand finals will now be the Cumberland Phoenix and the Fisher Falcons. That will get us to our final matchup against St. Clair, who wait at the end of the road of destiny, where a champion will be crowned at the end of this very Sunday. Amber, it has been a pleasure to bring all of the fun throughout this weekend. I am so excited to get into these final few matches. So while we get everything set up, we're going to step aside. We're going to take a break here at the Impact Gaming Center in St. Louis. The venue has been fantastic throughout the entire weekend. We can't wait to bring you these final 2 matches and to crown a championship in just a few hours' time. Don't go anywhere. The 2026 CCL Championship continues after this break.